Hi everyone, I thought I'd make you a quick video today, quick, on, never quick, contouring and highlighting and those kinds of things. The way I'm going to do it today is going to be quite extreme, so you get the idea as opposed to it being really blended in and nice and what have you. So just, you know, prepare yourselves for that. So firstly, there's lots of different products you can use for contouring and highlighting. Some people like to use for contouring. You can get kits like from Sleek, MAC, oh, everybody does them really at this point. You can also just use a dark colored blusher. Not necessarily going to be great for darker skin tones, but for lighter skin tones you can certainly use a dark blusher. You can also use, some people just use, you know, like a brown eyeshadow, or you can use a matte bronzer. The point of contouring is you're wanting to sink in, you know, I'm just doing this on your cheeks, but you're wanting to sink in that part of your face. If you put shimmer on it, it's going to reflect light, it's just going to bring it out. So no shimmery contour. Shimmery contour, bad. Bad, bad. Well, no, it's not bad, it's just not going to do what you know, you're trying to do. Highlight wise, you can get tons of highlighting powders. I have one here that I love from UCID, and it is called Eye Glow in Sirocco, and it's like a baked powder. You can get the mineralized skin finishes from MAC. Oh, the same thing with highlighting powders, like everyone has one really. Get them in all different colors, bronzy colors, or you can get creams as well, don't need to be powders. There's just such a huge option. Brushes wise, depends. Some people prefer to use a slanted angled brush like this. Okay, this one is from Illamasqua and it doesn't have a number, just Illamasqua, I'm afraid, because they find that it gets in to the contour of their face quite well, and a lot of people use these also for highlighting because of the shape of them as well. You can use something like this, which is a kabuki brush, but it's a long-handled kabuki brush. You can use a short-handled one if you want as well, because they're quite dense. You do want a brush that's fairly dense, nothing too flimsy. The other option you have is a short round top brush, like the MAC 109. Okay, so it's quite flat on top and pretty, you know, pretty dense. Again, same thing, fits nicely in there. There's also this one here from BCC. It's a Pro Deluxe F14 brush. It's very similar, you'll see, to the MAC brush, except it's slightly longer. The bristles are slightly longer. So, I mean, each to their own. They're both, you know, great brushes, but do the same thing. Happy days. Highlighting wise, again, it's up to you. Some people prefer to just, you know, use like a normal brush, just away you go. Oh, the other brush you can get, which I forgot to get out, sorry, is you can get like a tapered brush, like the MAC, I want to say 169. I forgot to get it out, sorry, but I'll try and pop a picture or something in of what I mean. But it's essentially like a powder brush, except the top narrows into a point. Highlight wise, yeah, you can use those same brushes if you want, that's great. You can use like a small fluffy blending brush, or you can use the likes of a fan brush. A lot of people really like these because it's a really light application, because it's not super dense, it doesn't pick up a huge amount of product. You can use a blusher brush, again, doesn't matter, whatever makes you happy. So it's really just finding out what brushes suit you, really. Today I'm obviously going to be slightly more dramatic than I normally would, to give you an idea of the areas to contour. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually just going to use a little bit of a Stila Sheer Color Tinted Moisturizer, but it's in the colour bronze, so it's obviously, you'll see in a wee minute, too dark for me. You can see there. Stippling brush, great for highlighting. Great. I'm gonna use this for contouring though instead. So basically, what you see when I do this, you can see sort of my chubby cheeks. Naturally kind of goes in here. It's generally from about, I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. A general rule of thumb would be from your tragus, which I handily have mine pierced for this occasion, towards the corner of your mouth. Okay, that's going to be, there's my cheekbone. You want to be on the, this is sort of where my cheekbone ends. You want to be in the edge of your cheekbone just as it starts to go into that hollow in there. Okay, so generally from about the top of the tragus down towards the corner of the mouth. You're obviously not contouring down to the corner of your mouth. That'd be a little strange. So that's the general area on the cheek. Now everybody's face shape is different, okay? So a lot of people will, I'm just going to put this on quickly, just to give you an idea. Nice big line there, okay? And I'm going to blend that in. So I'm going to do one side of my face and not the other so you can see. You want the darkest part, oh you bum face, I've got it on my other brush. Let's just get it off on there. To be sort of towards the back of the cheek here, okay? You can take it up onto your ear as well, just to blend it. Okay, and down towards the cheekbone, where the apple of the cheek is, okay? The other place that's very common for contouring, not particularly something that I personally do, however, a lot of women would contour this part of their head to slim it down, but you can see on my cheekbones are wider than this part of my head, okay? But if you find that your head is more square, it's very it's really great to create this sort of oval shape, which is the more desired shape. But for me, I have a widow's peak, and so I like to just bronze the top of my forehead to sort of try and round that out a little bit. Contouring and highlighting is all about adding shadow and lightness, just like you would with paint or anything. It's exactly the same thing. You're essentially painting your face. I'll run some through here just so you can see as well. Okay. Now the other place that we can look at contouring, which is great for us girls that are a little chubbier, a little bit more loving, around the jawline. Okay, and also as you get a little bit older and the face starts to, gravity starts to, you know, take over a little. It's great to add that definition back into the jawline, okay? If you've got your hair up, you definitely want to take it from back here, because you will see this area in here, and it'll look really random if you just have like, you know. So make sure you sort of bronze in that area gently, and then so when you contour down here, it's just a lot more natural looking. So just on, again, the same as with the cheek, on the edge of the bone, so it's going slightly underneath and slightly on it. Now the key to a natural contour is to make sure it's well blended. If it's not well blended, it's gonna just look like a big line, okay? So you want to make sure it's blended into the face quite well. Okie dokie, so that's a sort of basic face shape kind of thing. A lot of people call it the E3. I don't know if that's the right way. E3, whatever, you know what I mean, because it's that kind of shape, or I'm better showing you this side. You're coming down around here, around the edge of your face, cutting in down around here, pulling back out and down back under the jawline. Okay, adoke. Next. Okay, so say I want to, for example, my nose is quite slim at the top here, but it kind of poofs out. Poofs. So say I want to slim that down a little bit. You can use a flat shader brush, you can use a fluffy brush, whatever your heart desires. In this case, I'm using a fluffy blending brush from, I believe, Truco. And I'm going to go down from the inside here, lightly, down my nose, shaping it how I want it, okay? So this is obviously the part that I want to shade in a bit, okay? Because it sticks on. Now if you look at sort of people who have nicer noses than me, they tend to, you know, come down and cut in across here, across the top of the nostril. They don't necessarily just go straight down, okay? So do keep that in mind, what an actual nose looks like, not just, you know, draw a line. Okay, so you'll see now that my face looks really wonky, but that's okay. This works really well as well if your nose is slightly crooked. You can sort of contour in more. Once I'd say your nose knocks off to this side, you can sort of contour in slightly and it'll make it look slightly straighter. Also, if the bridge of your nose is very broad, you know, take that blending just down the side of it, through here, and that'll take that down a little bit. If you're like me and the end of your nose is quite big, slim down the shape a little bit. Make sure you do the end, not just sort of a line to there. And that'll give the appearance of you having a slightly slimmer nose. Maybe you would like bigger apples of your cheeks. You can pull your contouring round very slightly in this area. I'm not going to use that brush. Okay. And that'll give you the appearance of having more of an apple, which again makes your cheekbone look a lot higher. I wouldn't go too heavy with that because everybody has that sort of smile line in there, and you don't want it sitting in that and making that line actually looking, you know, deeper. So be careful you're not away in your smile lines, that you're just going lightly across there to create this kind of shape. So that's some really basic face contouring. That's all, and unless you have really specific issues, which if you do, you can get in touch with me and I can give you sort of advice on that on a one-to-one basis. But in general, this is, I mean, even if I'm doing my contouring, if I'm going out just day, night, whatever, I wouldn't contour my nose. I would contour on my cheeks. I wouldn't do this part. I would just do the back of my cheek, but near died there. I would just do sort of, you know, this contour part round under my jawline, and across the top of my forehead here, if my hair was up. Yes, so that gives you an idea of sort of the basic contour, but I know a lot of people, the nose is a big thing for a lot of people, but you don't need to contour your nose every day. Like, most 99.9% of people don't need to contour their nose. That's extreme. That's a lot of work. Highlighting. What will I use? I've got an eyeshadow here, which I'm going to try and see if it'll show up brighter on my skin tone. We shall see. I'm going to use my short kabuki brush purely because I need to pack a wee bit more on so you guys can see it quite well. Okay, so a lot of people in this area of the face will have maybe some larger pores. It's natural around the nose, jaw, chin, etc. You definitely don't want to highlight those. Okay, the other thing you will have when you get a little older, unless you're very young, is lines around your eyes. So if I have little crinkles under my eyes, then when I smile, okay, I have these lines here, and then wee ones out the side there too. Do not be getting highlighter in those, because you're just gonna make them look worse, and the highlighter will settle in them, and that ain't pretty. You don't want that to happen, okay? So the area you want to highlight is the top of the cheekbone, okay? Which I would generally highlight sort of in this area, so to about maybe, I don't know, let's see if I'm looking straight ahead, the edge of the colour of my eye, back to sort of like the corner of my eye. I would often take it round in a C shape as well. Everybody's different. Like I said, your face shape is, you know, everybody's face shape is different. I, however, don't mind this area being highlighted on my face because I am slightly narrower there. So I like to sort of, you know, just pull that out a little bit more to make my face look slightly less like I'm a conehead. Do you remember the Coneheads? Dan Aykroyd? It was a good movie. I'm one of them. Anyway, highlight this area. If you are having real issues with your jaw, you can contour and then highlight in this in between area, which will pull it out even more. Okay, and then the nose as well. You don't want to necessarily highlight the end of the nose, okay, because that's where people tend to get oily, and you don't want to end up looking like you're oily. However, if, say like myself, you have quite a wide nose, you can put, you know, a small, very small amount, but I would definitely recommend highlighting the bridge of the nose unless the bridge of your nose is very, very skinny. Then you don't want to accentuate that it's very, very thin. Okay, so I'm going to use this and hope that it turns up. Turns up? Shows up. Let's see. Yeah, that's showing up quite well. I don't know why I'm trying to blend it. I need to stop. I'm like... So you can see... Oh, you can't half see. I've missed the lovely lines. I'm underneath those. Okay? And I've come down to about where the colour starts in my eye. And pulled it up on top of the cheekbone. Okay, if I zoom you back a little bit, like normal, look how much higher this cheekbone looks than this one. It's really high, really defined. My face looks a lot thinner. I mean, it looks very extreme right now, I'm aware, because of the colours, but, you know, you get the idea. Okay, I'm going to bring a little up on my forehead. Might need to get a little more, maybe not. And through here slightly, just to broaden that part of my head. You don't have to. It's also very nice to run it through the outside of your brow there. Okay. For the sake of this, I will highlight in here. With that one, you want to make sure it's reasonably well blended. Okay. Down the bridge of the nose, I'm going to take a tiny little bit down the center of my nose. It doesn't have to be shiny either, by the way. Highlight can be matte, most definitely. Just a lighter color. It doesn't need to be a shimmery color. I'm just using it today because it's easier for you to see. Yeah. Not too hard, right? So I'm going to show you now somehow with the use perhaps of this palette. Might be an idea. This is my contoured half. Oh, I forgot one thing. One more thing. Depending on your chinny chin, again, everybody's different. I have a chin like a ventriloquist doll, like a dummy, like, see? My bottom jaw should be able to move independent from the top, which it can, but you know what I mean, like a ventriloquist dummy. Some people don't have much of a chin. You can contour in this area here. Okay, and then you can also highlight the, oh, wrong brush, tip of your chin, which will just accentuate it. Probably use a smaller brush for that, to be fair. That little bit more, okay? So, just to show you, contoured Rebecca, not contoured Rebecca. So you can really see the difference that contouring can make. Obviously, I'm not saying go out, get your brush, there goes the dogs, dig it in the brown eyeshadow and whack it on like it's going out of fashion. Don't do that. I have done that today for demonstration purposes. You want to keep it nice and blended into the skin. Okay, so you can see what a difference even like, you know, blending those colours in together makes. But it still, you know, gives your face that little bit more shape and definition, which is really what you're trying to achieve with contouring. If you're talking about bronzing, that's a completely different thing. Bronzing and contouring are not the same thing. You can use a matte bronzer for contouring, and you could use a contouring powder for bronzing, but they are not the same thing. A lot of people seem to get them confused, but I'll maybe do another video on what actually bronzing is. It's definitely not this bronzer, because that makes me want to cry. Okay, makes me sad. Anyway, toodle pip. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any other questions, any issues that you might have that you would like to contour or highlight or whatnot, then please don't hesitate to leave me a wee comment down below. Or if you're on the blog, you can also leave me a comment. And also my email is on the blog as well. If you want to privately email me about something, feel free. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a lovely evening. But did I really just go lovely evening? Sort your life out.